Oh, it always seems like it takes forever for it to kick off.
That's, when you do that, that's extra editing for one of us.
Oh, sorry. All right. Welcome back to ACES53, everybody. What does ACES stand for? Attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and smile. Why the 53? When Ed was in college, he had a professor who talked about ACES53 and the best hand, or the 52 cards in a deck plus a joker. I screwed it all up.
Basically, okay, it's aces and a joker, which is an acronym to remember in sales. Attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, smile. Those are the things that you bring to the table that you should always have on. The smiling part's the worst time for me, but I do smile on the inside. But that joker is that unique ability that you have. I don't even look at it the best hand. That's for an acronym to remember, that joker. So that is the 53rd card in the deck, the first one. And that's important because you need to have that unique ability. I didn't know I had one. I thought I was just good at it. I didn't realize because I sold by the phone, people like my voice till I put headphones on. I had no idea I had a deep voice. Even saying that, I feel like I'm a fake, and that's what we'll talk about on Thursday. But it's like you still don't get it. To me, it doesn't sound like I have that deep a voice. So
you're not quite Barry White, but you're I'd say above average.
Yeah,
or I guess is it below average for the voice?
Guilford Godfrey.
Yeah. Well, as many times we've talked about this, I don't know why it just popped in my head for the first time, but when I used to have my corporate career, there was one guy that I worked for who said, whenever we're going into a presentation, we're answering a request for proposal or an RFP, some type of business, he did a presentation one time, said, "What's the joker?" And in his instance, the joker was, who is the person that could blow this up? So if we thought we were going in, we thought we were doing really well, who is the person that could throw in a monkey wrench into the middle of it? So it is interesting. We look at it as who's the person that's going to bring us a special skill or set of knowledge here. But the way we looked at it was, who's the person who can F up the deal for you?
That's because you guys thought you were Batman.
Well, I think I'm Batman, but they did not think that.
I'm just saying that's the different take.
Right.
One's the comic book.
Yes.
I'm sorry, graphic novel.
Yes. You can't, you got to say it all the right way. But it was just funny. All the times we've talked about the Joker, that for some reason popped back into my head today. But welcome back from after the holiday. Hopefully, what'd you end up doing yesterday?
Drove back from the cabin, and then I ended up working a little bit in the afternoon because all of a sudden people think it's important to buy a home, which it's always been important to buy a home, but it's just more and more people are looking to qualify. And I'm seeing more and more second homes than anything else right now.
Oh, well, you hang out with the higher class people. They're my second home. My third home.
Well, no, I see all over the place, even people we know that we are connected to. They're like, with $10,000, can I buy, can you buy investment property? Well, why are you looking at investment property if you haven't even bought your own home? Right. I think you should buy your own home first, or buy that investment property to live in. And this is not a show on real estate, but buy a 1 to 4, get in a 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit property where it's cheap to get into as the primary residence. And then eventually buy your other house. But do it the cheapest way you can, which is 5% down.
Yeah. Interesting kind of change of events here. But so you drove in from the cabin. Did you guys have snow or anything like that?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. So we shut down yesterday. So the kids were already off school. All of Dallas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we got this much ice. And it's funny because it melted yesterday, at least in my area, by like noon. But they shut down the schools even today, because there could be a chance that there's a little bit of slippery spot. So Dallas is kind of ridiculous, but
yeah, we didn't leave the cabin until 10 because I wanted to make sure it was melted, because it was where we're at. We were only 5,200 altitude. So we got a lot of snow on Saturday, but into Sunday, it started melting. I told my wife, I was like, tomorrow's going to be super icy because of all the sheets of water and freezing overnight. Right. And it did. But we're not here to talk about our vacations, are we?
I was just curious how your holiday went.
No, well, and it's funny because when I was in the Navy, this weekend we would go to Mammoth because federal was the only place that had it off. Yeah, banks and the government. Everybody else had to work, so it was a perfect 3-day weekend to go to like Mammoth, where there wasn't a bunch of people there. But not anymore.
Yeah. Hey, I like snow when it's under my board. Otherwise, I live in Texas. I don't look forward to that crap. But to your point, the reason that we are here today, what we're going to talk about is putting yourself out there. So we've kind of kicked off 2024 with how to become the authority in your space. But what we didn't really address, and our Joker on Thursday is going to help us with, is, are you mentally prepared, or are you mentally holding yourself back? I can tell you, I suffer a lot of times from that, limited mindset. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. And that's what our Joker is going to talk about the other day. And so what I thought we'd talk about is just what are some of the experiences that were scary or hard when we started putting ourselves out there to the rest of the world. So you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Well, I know yours. Yours is just in general putting yourself out there to the world.
I agree. But okay, let's go with you, Mr. I've been on a
everything should be difficult to a certain point. Mm-hmm. If it's not uncomfortable, then you need to challenge yourself more. Right. I would say the first one was the radio. I've never been on, and it wasn't just like record these. So with podcasts, for the long time, you record it, you can edit it, then you can. Those were live.
Yeah,
your mess ups were there permanently. There was no, hey, let's retake that. There was no retakes, and so for the first year and a half, being live really helped me do much better. And then, so that was very uncomfortable for me. And that's why I did it. If we don't challenge ourselves, what are you going to do?
Do you think, though, I remember as a kid, like when you hear your own voice, people's first reaction is, ooh, they aren't necessarily fans of it. Was that your experience when you first got on radio, or was it one of those you didn't think about it, or how did it work out for you?
I didn't even know.
Didn't even know?
Didn't even care. Well, the person who helped me to get on radio, she's like, you got the perfect voice for it and face.
There you go. Okay. So I will tell you, the first time I listened to
that's everybody, dude.
Yeah, recording, you just want to cringe, go, oh man, so bad.
That's okay. We all know how you sound.
Yes. Hey, that's so hurtful. So hurtful.
No, that's not a bad thing. Everybody already knows what you look like, right, how you sound. So they don't care. They already know you. It's you that cares. So get over yourself.
Exactly. And that was what I was going to bring up is when we went to Secret Knock, actually. So that was the second time I met you. You and I met in San Diego at Steve's event. And then we got invited to go to Secret Knock after that. And there was a guy that got up and he talked about, if you're making it about you, that's why people get nervous and scared. But we're raised in an environment where, we had to think before, what keeps me in the tribe? What keeps me from getting kicked out? And it was always the weirdo that got kicked out, right? So the run to the litter gets kicked out. There's something biologically in us that worries about other people. What do they think about us? What do they do? Add to the fact, were you raised like, children should be seen and not heard? Did you grow up in those environments where like, no, be part of the background? That can make it tougher for people. And this guy, James Dentley, was the guy. Now he's Sir James Dentley because he got knighted. But that was his piece of advice was, if you get up and you're making it about you, you'll always be nervous and fail. If you get up to make it about who can I help, that's where it makes a difference. And do you know who Dennis Yu is?
Yeah, I know Dennis Yu.
Okay, I thought you might have.
I met him like the first year I got into the Steve stuff.
Okay,
he was in San Francisco at the first speakeasy I went to.
Oh, okay. I met him at Traffic and Conversion, and he was giving someone else a talk about every time he looks at a camera, his phone, whatever it is, he just thinks of the one person that he wants to help. Who is one person on the other side? So we talk a lot before about, do you have your ideal avatar? Do you have an idea of who your perfect customer is, whatever you want to call it? We had Rhonda on the other week who talks about her ideal client from the Book Yourself Solid system. If you can always think of, I just want to help that one person, it can help dissipate some of the nervousness or other things. I think the other part is, in every single person you see out there, from Grant Cardone to Bradley to whoever it is that you may know, Alex Hormozy, they all sucked when they got started. And so you have to embrace the suck. Get yourself out there. First videos will rarely be spectacular. It's the repetition of putting yourself out there.
What are you talking about? My first video was amazing.
I know your mom told you that, but no, it's did other people.
No, you need to not worry about that's, and I guarantee you, still to this day, they are all nervous. Mm-hmm. They're all insecure. They are, to a certain point. I mean, somebody we know is they're some of the most insecure people. You can just tell. That's why they have to, and I don't mean this in a negative way. It's just how it is. Right. You never overcome that. No matter how, you were always once nobody.
Exactly. It's great. There was Joe Polish got up and talked one time and said, sometimes the people you see on stage, they're almost broken because they feel like they want the attention. And there are those that you can tell who's up there for attention, who's up there to share a message. And
I'm always up there for attention.
I know you and your no, not the NO, but the KNOW. It's an interesting world for sure. For me personally, the scariest thing I ever did was post something onto my own profile page. It was easy to do things under a company name because why? Well, that's just a company. But the very first time I posted anything to my own Instagram, to my own Facebook, it was like that. You see the meme where it's like he's sweating before he presses the button. That was me. Because even though I'd been doing this, it was that, will I be judged by my peers? And yeah, that's what I was going to say. What you'll discover over time is there's just some people who are going to rag on you no matter what you do. But a lot more people can support you and may be able to help you if you put yourself out there. Last week, I spoke to a school district here in Texas, and it came from a guy I went to junior high and high school with. And
maybe it was your daughter's school. Bring your dad to school today.
Yeah, bring your dad to school. Yes, I read to first graders. No, it was a guy he's a superintendent for a school district. And he said, I saw a picture of you and Mark Cuban where you ran into him in Vegas. And I was curious, like, what is this guy doing? And he started going through my posts and he reached out and said, hey, we're doing our kickoff for 2024 to help train our teachers. Can you come out and do it? And it was a fun room to be in because you got to help people who, teachers don't make a lot. You hear about a lot of teachers who are having to buy their own supplies, drive Uber on the weekends, have second jobs, but they're passionate about what they do. And it was one of the funner rooms I've been in a while because people weren't there just to learn to sell one more product to one more person. It's how can I impact the lives of the kids and the parents and their coworkers? It was a great time to be there, but none of that would have happened if I didn't hit play or click send on my own personal account. And
you have to put it on all accounts, dude.
Right.
I mean, but the thing is, we can post to every account that's business, right? Through all those systems. But your personal, you have to post to.
Yes. And that goes back to one of the things we're talking about in 2024 is a way to establish authority is your personal brand. And it's interesting because, I started more of when I ran into people like Ryan, I only had the business Instagram. And so that's where I have the most amount of followers. But I'm getting more business from posting to my personal brand because people always want to buy from a company or from a person versus a company.
That's why that's all I ever post is my name.
Now, do you think part of that, I meant to ask you this earlier, is military training? Because with military, it's kind of like don't have a lot of close ties. You have to be able to move around and you are your name versus your title or your rank. No? Just who you're.
No, that had nothing to do with the military because I haven't been in the military for years. What it was is I learned a long time ago, there's two brands. There's a company brand and there's an individual brand. You have to build them both. Most important, you got to build your personal brand more than anything else, because with things that can happen with a company that could change names, but you're always going to be you.
Right.
So they buy you, not your company. Nobody buys unless you're Apple. Those kind of things. There's just, but they're actually Steve Jobs is who they, right? That's who the Apple, right? That's who they went after in the beginning. That was the person. They're no longer, there. That's different. But everybody buys. Look at Tesla. Who is Tesla?
Everybody thinks Elon, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's two brands there. Elon doesn't even have to advertise his cars.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Do you think, coming from the real estate industry, that's why realtors put a picture on their business cards, on their signs, things like that, because they want to be known more than just Century 21 or Remax or whoever it is. So if they change around, or is that because they have to build up clientele that way? Were they the original build your own brand, insurance and realtors?
Yeah, their face on things, but you should keep your picture updated though.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that TikTok where the guy's like, he takes a business card from the agent and he's like, "Oh, this is you."
It's one of the things I talk about is, how often are you updating your LinkedIn profile? And then of course, other ones. I'm guilty of the same crime. The picture I have is probably 5 years old that I have on my business cards. And so I need to get an updated one, do a new headshot. Because I don't wear ties
business cards. Who's using business cards, man?
I have them with the QR code, but I get
yeah.
Huh?
Get that metal one. They just like ding on their
Well, I
phones
have
and
that.
automatically. Yeah. So they
I
don't
have
need one. You don't need a business card.
I
Give them
I
your book.
agree to a degree.
My business card is my book. And I tell agents, don't hand out, here's another thing. Whoever we're the whole last month or two, we've been talking about the authority in your industry. And that's basically what we're still trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was like, I run into where people give my information out. I'm like, agents, stop giving my information out. Give me, you can do that, but give me their number. And this is no matter who you're working with. So I can call them. I'm an old school sales guy. I'll call them, period. And shocking.
That weird number that shows up that I don't know that I let go to voicemail.
Yeah, exactly. But I said, then if you have to give out a few different names, not many, there's a few people who think that. I'm like, that's fine. But just tell your clients to Google each name.
Right.
And see what comes up. See if you can connect with them. See if you can find out information. I have a lot of reviews on Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because I moved my office, and one of the people I moved, he was like shocked how fast we showed up. It's because of the reviews on Google.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Going back to what you're saying, don't share my information or don't get business cards. I'll disagree with you on some, because if you're working a trade show booth, some other things where you won't always be there, your business cards can be there. Business cards, the problem with it is when people come out, there's a guy who said, don't play business card masturbation, where you're constantly going like this to people, just handing everybody your business card. That's where it's done wrong. And there are actually networking groups now that say, do not bring a business card with you. If you can come to our event, if someone wants your information, exchange information on your phone, so to your point, get a popple. I have QR codes for different places I want to push people. Am I wanting them to get the cheat sheet? Do I want them to go to look at this? Do I want them to book? I have different QR codes.
All right, so which is it? You just said two separate things. First, you said get a business card, and now you're saying not to get a business card. Which is it?
I said both. I said, like, if you're doing booths or trade shows where you won't always be present, people can grab it, then I say have a business card. But to your point, beyond that, a lot of networking events are now saying stop throwing business cards like they're Chinese stars. So having a QR code is a good backup plan as well. I'm always amazed. Like, where was I?
Everybody has this, but they don't have. Oh, look at that! See my big hangry media showed up there. Everybody has their phone all the time, but they don't have a place to put all their business cards.
Correct.
They have. We don't have the old Rolodex anymore. We have a phone.
Well, Apple, right, in the latest release, made it that if you hold your phone near somebody else's, you can exchange card information.
Right.
And a lot of people freaked out and said, oh my God, that's a security risk. And they immediately turned that off. But how much easier is it? Now, to your point, if you're going to buy a metal card, like there's one called Uvo, there's several other ones that are out there. The question, if you're going to spend the money to do that and or popple, is make sure you're buying one that not only can people download your contact information, but is there a button that says send Ed my contact information as well? So spend the extra money.
Popple's on there. Popple has that.
Yeah. Popple has that. Okay. I know Uvo has that, but some of the other business cards only share your information with the person scanning it, but it doesn't allow them to push their information to you. So it's no different than a business card. Here, take my information. I hope you call me, without asking them for theirs. So if there's a software that you want, if you want to go Popple or any of the other ones, make sure that it allows two-way sharing of contact information. That's a huge one.
Right. For me, I share my books.
Right.
Because that's, and I'm right in there. Stop. I have a stamp. This is for someone who's renting. I put a stamp and this says stop renting, put their name, sign it, and then put my phone number underneath my name.
There you go.
That way they never lose it.
Is stoprenting.com available? Have you looked?
I'm sure it's not.
You never know. I thought, like, what I find one the other day, getthecheatsheet.com was open. I'm like, how is that one still available? So now when people go, how do I get the cheat sheet? Well, go to getthecheatsheet.com. I did get the flashcards and a few.
No, you can get that one for $28,000.
Oh, well, that's what pocket change.
Chump change.
Right? Yeah. That's easy for you. But yeah, so there are ways to put yourself out there that are different. Like you said, having a book, that's a huge one. Why? Because the first part of authority is author. And the first question
I didn't even think of that.
I know you've never heard that one.
Man, that was like so quick.
Next,
I was like, damn, how did you come up with that?
If you have a new car, you see that car everywhere, right? That's what everybody talks about. But it's true. You go out like, well, one of the events is going to take place in the next 2 days with Greg now he's not doing it in his home. But one of the big things is everybody who's a speaker who has an author, they give away their book at that event, and you never know what it can lead to. And so here, it's a smaller one. It's more 40 to 80 people, but they have an entire time. And Greg does his larger event also, where anybody who's got a book, they can bring their book in and sign it off to people. And it makes a big, big deal. If people go, oh, yeah, no, I know the author. Or, oh, yeah, I met the author. It does. When people will ask that question about speaking stuff, oh, do you have a book you can sell? It's one of the first questions that's out there. And, some of the speakers we know, how did they get the gig? Because somebody read their book and recommended it to their company. So,
yeah. So I checked all the different variations of those real quick, and they're all expensive.
No.
Except for AI.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, just people don't think about it. You're going to end up sending them to somebody else's website. Yeah. All right. Well, it was worth a shot. It just popped in my head while you were talking.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that, once they went to these premium domain stuff, it's like, really? If it's, oh, well, what are you going to do?
Exactly. All right.
It says stop renting.
There you go. Hey, there it is. You got to figure out a way to sneak Ed in the whole thing. Right?
Well, that was like funny where, buyedsbook.com was available.
Yeah.
I thought, or Ed for Mayor. I got that a while back.
Oh, did you?
My wife said no, but I got Ed for Mayor.
So. Yeah. Might as well go buy it. I bought just when an idea pops in mind, I go and buy it. But you never know. Some of those ones that are stupid that you buy, they end up being worth money later on. But back to our topic. All right. So we talked about have a popple. You can still use business cards if you want. Have a book. What are some of the other ways you recommend?
You mean to get your name out there? What was the exact question? I'm sorry. I was all self-absorbed. Get on the radio. Yeah, we said podcasting, right? We said podcasting, get on the radio.
Right.
If you can't get into a documentary, which is very difficult, but book, I would say do webinars. That's a big push in my industry for first-time home buyers is webinars and stuff like that. So much there's a guy selling how to do it, and they originally were charging $8,000. Now they're charging $3,000. And it's like, really, what are you doing? Are you setting it all up? Are you doing all that? No, they're teaching you how to set it up and how to do it.
Yes. That's so the two things that I think when we had the guy on from Go High Level, and then I've seen another one is newsletters and webinars are definitely making a comeback.
I would say newsletters, especially from your podcasts, from your other stuff. You do one newsletter that has a line for everything you do and send it out to your tribe and create a tribe. And that's what I'm working on right now. So, and I checked out a VAs and this company for a VA, which was for 20 hours a week. It was $905 for that person a month for 20 hours a week, which is a little bit more expensive, but they go over everything and make sure of it. But it's just really difficult to get one person to do everything that we need to have done.
Right.
And that's like that thing you sent me that was an unlimited video. The only problem is how great are those? How can it be unlimited, with that?
I call it the moving dilemma, right? Do you pay by the move and then it's a little bit slower, or do you pay by the hour and then they're rushing? It's kind of one of those, oh crap, I don't know which way is really the way to win. But
well, most people pay by the move, which means they have so many hours they build into it. Okay, well, it's going to be this to here, and this is which is you want to have a final number, because I don't want to do by hour, and the next thing you know, you're so ridiculously expensive.
Yes, because they'll go slow. Oh, let me move this little thing right here.
They can go slow on the big stuff that's expensive. They can go faster on the boxes.
Right. Speaking of like newsletters, so Janine started doing a newsletter, and she found a company, and it is called. Who is it that she does it? She puts out 3 of them a week, and she uses a company called, what is it? Let me see, get the app. Come on. Substack.com. And so she's starting to do all of her newsletters through there. And, people can subscribe to get your newsletter. So what we saw through Perry Belcher and what Go High Level was talking about, newsletters, paid newsletters are making a comeback.
And mailed ones.
Oh, yes. Mailed one. Who was the one talking about? Was that Pam who was talking about? Yeah. She started doing that, Pam Pryor?
We should have her on, not on the CFO side, but as what she's doing to see how it's working.
Right. To see how it stands out.
And
That's a
how
great.
did she become her authority?
That's well, one. You know what she does is when she introduces people, she sends them a book and she sends them a calculator. Which my daughter loves to play at the calculator, but that's a good example. What can you put out there? What else was I going to talk about? Obviously, we talked about website, but so when people Google you, what shows up? Thursday's going to be interesting because
It's Thursday. You want to talk about it ahead of time, or you want to surprise people?
no, I just want to tell people I'm a joker. There, a lot of us getting into this, it's more of a mental barrier than it is anything else. And so that's one of the things our joker is going to help talk about that. And you and I have said this before, repeat the phrase.
Because you feel like you're what's the word we're looking for?
Imposter. Fake? Yeah. That's just what I was going to say. I do like the quote. So you'll hear me say it all the time. Only imposters don't get imposter syndrome. It's true. You know, sometimes you get off stage and get off done talking. You're just like, God, that was horrible. And somebody will walk up and go, man, that was great. It was one of the best things I've heard. And you're like, really? Okay. You know, we're all harder on ourselves and more supportive to our friends. But yeah. That's
how I feel every week with Rotary. We run it.
Yeah. Just feel like it's horrible. And then all of a sudden people walk up and say, it's awesome.
Oh, great meeting. Great. Thanks so much. It's like, really? First of all, I don't remember most of it.
Well, that's because they're so early in the morning. Come on.
No, it's just because you're in a role. You don't even think about it. It's so automatic now. So.
Yeah. On a unrelated but kind of related event, like when people get married, that's one thing I tell them is like, it's going to be a blur. Find 5 to 10 minutes by yourselves to go and sit and talk, because everybody wants a piece of your time and attention and everything. And, you know, it's really odd when you go and you speak at an event and you get done, people will pull all the time. There was one speaker I remember years ago here in Dallas, Marshall Silver, if you've ever heard him. This is back when he had hair. And he would tell
me, have hair at one time, so that's
true. He would tell people he goes, I am up here. I'm going to be with you for the next 3 days. I'm going to be giving so much to all of you that I need you to respect my privacy, that when we take breaks, if you see me in the bathroom, don't come and ask me questions. Don't talk to me. Let me go to the bathroom. When we go back, let me prepare. And it's interesting how draining it can become when you're serving other people, but it's fulfilling at the exact same time. So that's why we do it. But it can be, you can run yourself ragged when you're trying to do all these things for other people.
Have you found so I do a lot on Wednesday. I do a lot usually Monday. Mm-hmm. And then Wednesday is really busy with recording radio and other stuff, because but I'm tired. And then you add Thursday morning, my Rotary, which starts, I get there about 6:15. I don't get out of there till 8:30 by the time I'm done. And again, same thing there. People talk to you, whatever. And it's like, it's just draining.
Yeah. It's funny. I've started incorporating naps into the middle of my day.
Well, you're at that age.
Well, I'm a night owl, and then I get up at 6:30 in the morning. So I'm like, all right, well, I got 30 minutes. You know what a caffeine nap is?
So you drink caffeine and take a nap?
Yeah. So they did studies that takes 30 minutes for caffeine to really kick in your system. So what you do is you slam a cup of coffee, and then you go take a 15-minute nap, and you get up. And when you wake up, not only did you get a little bit of rest, but then the caffeine's kicked in at the exact same time.
Gotcha.
So, little tip there.
Tidbit.
Yep. Little tidbit, something to help. So anything else you want to talk about today?
No, I kind of wanted to keep it, it's Tuesday, first day back for me. It is Tuesday, right?
It is Tuesday. Everybody's coming back off a holiday, unless you live in Texas, and then you're at home with your kids because the school's shut down, even though there's no
or in America.
It's funny.
Most Americas are not on a holiday.
I know. Well, that's what makes me laugh is you've got some places that just got hit and pounded with snow, and we got this little much and we shut down. So
Texas. Well, I mean, you're not used to it. There's difference. It's like us in Northern California where I'm at. People will be playing soccer, baseball, whatever, and it's football, and it's 95 right outside. They're drinking all the water and doing stuff. And then you have Southern California where it's like, oh, okay, we're not working out today, not doing anything. It's 90 degrees.
Right. In Texas, we're like, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Anywho. All right. You want to take us out? You want me to take us out?
Sure. You want me to take us out, then you fix it? All right. I'm just kidding. All right. So again, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. We hope we give you we just wanted to, a little bit of knowledge given each episode that we do. We hope it resonates with you. If you reach out to us, let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about or bring up, anything else. You got comments, you can make it here. And again, we appreciate you, and thanks for being here. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for being here.
No problem. My pleasure. All right. Thanks for being here, and we will talk to you again on Thursday. Make it a great day.